Stunt to learn. Here we are. We got it figured out. Commentator's Curse coming to you live on the Community Sports Show. Once again, it is Wednesday night. Glad to see you all there. Well, good night.
Good evening.
Good afternoon. Good morning. Wherever you are across the big wide globe, you're here with me, Noel Noelzy Johnston, and special guest for the week, Chris Whitey White. For the midweek show for Lacrosse WA, it's round 2, Whitey. Plenty going on. And I was alone in the studio last week, and it's been a while since I've seen you.
It has been a while, Noelzy.
How's things going?
Mate, life is busy with 3 kids, and it's actually quieter now. The 18s tournament's finished and cricket season's over, so I have Wednesdays free again.
Well, glad the viewers don't have it free, because that means they can join us here on the Community Sports Show, and it is proudly brought to you thanks to our sponsors, ID Athletic and Vision Decor. We can't do it without them, and I'm proudly supporting the ID Athletic brand here right now. Whitey, plenty of lacrosse. I know it's week 2, just been and gone. You mentioned the 18s. We gave them a plug last week. Not a bad showing by WA.
No, mate, they went down by 2 goals in the end in the grand final. Had some outstanding performances right across the field from a number of different players. I could pretty much list the whole team.
No, well, we won't do that.
No. But it was great to watch. Great week off work for me to spend it watching lacrosse at Wembley Lacrosse Club, who hosted a great event.
They definitely did, and they also hosted a great event last weekend, and that was the weekly broadcast triple header coming up for this week, viewers. So plenty of action for you across the show, plenty of action across the scenes, and we're going to kick it off this week. What we're going to do each and every week, viewers, is bring you the juniors, the women's and the men's from across Lacrosse WA, plus a bit of club news at the end. Whitey, under 11s, they've been doing some miles lately.
They have been. They enjoyed the trip north up to Alkimos on Saturday. Hopefully it wasn't too wet, windy and cold there in the morning, but there was 6 great games go on, with East Fremantle White 12 beating the host Alkimos 1, Wembley 12 defeating Bayswater 7, Phoenix 13 defeated East Fremantle, I'm going to say Blue, 6, and Wanneroo Joondalup 6 defeated the Black Swans 6. Great to see 4 games going on again this season.
Yeah.
Lots of kids out having fun on a Saturday morning.
Plenty of action across the competition, and as you say, good to see 8 teams represented in the under 11s. And you were right, that was East Fremantle Blue. I might kill that just because I think it's bleeping out. Well, actually, viewers, let us know if there's any tech issues, because we're running it through the screen and I'm seeing green. And it's not the green and red of Bayswater, Whitey.
No, unfortunately not. I see a lot of that, though, during the week, so it's nice to see a different shade of green every now and again.
All right, what we might do is just quickly minimise that, because that could be distracting for someone who sees bright flashing lights and goes, oh, bright flashing lights, like me. This week they're travelling down the other end. Last week up at Good Child last week Alkimos. Good Child this week.
Fantastic place. We'll be there on Friday night, Noelzy.
Yes, we will. Definitely be there on Friday night, but we'll come to that later, because this week in the under 11s it is an 8:30 start. All matches at Good Child. I
believe so.
Who's got who there, mate?
We've got Alkimos playing Bayswater. Phoenix have got the Black Swans. Wanneroo Joondalup got East Fremantle White, and East Fremantle Blue of Wembley. So,
well, big shout out to all the families doing the trekking up and down from Alkimos to Phoenix and all around. It's great to see you. I know there's been some conversations about that trekking, but big thumbs up to all the parents doing the Ks there.
Mate, at one stage I had children in under 11s, 13s, 15s and 17s, so I understand the logistical nightmare that a Saturday can be. But it's fantastic to have the passionate people involved with lacrosse.
Absolutely. All right, under 13s. These are all junior men's competitions. Wanneroo Red with the bye last week, while Wembley up against Bayswater 15-10 that one. Unlucky there to the Basie boys. Wanneroo Joondalup Blue against Subiaco Phoenix 14-7 in that match there. And a little bit of an easy win, although Alkimos, I'm glad to see they're doing lots of stuff across their club, and we'll come to that at the end of the show. But Alkimos going down 23-2 to East Fremantle, the under-13 men's there. 4 goals each. I'm not going to mention surnames just because they're under 14s, or 13s I should say. So Oliver, Casey and Luca, well done. 4 goals each there for East Fremantle. The future is bright in blue and white. Sorry.
The East Fremantle football is showing in you right now, Noelzy.
Hang on, who came in the Claremont jacket?
He settled down, big fella. It's great to see the youngsters getting on board and putting bags away. It's always good fun.
So the good news is Alkimos up against Bayswater in the under-13s. Wanneroo Joondalup Blue up against Wembley, while Wanneroo Joondalup Red up against East Fremantle. And Subiaco Phoenix enjoying a week off in under-13s. I'm sure the parents will appreciate that.
And the sleep in. Especially with Mother's Day coming up, they might get some breakfast in bed early. Now, on to the under-15s, Noelzy.
Well, there's been lots of support for it. We actually did an under-15s game last week because, unfortunately, Bayswater couldn't quite muster enough in Div 3.
No, unfortunately.
And we'll come to a question I have later in the men's competition about that. But it was Wembley 10. I'll go through the broadcast match just quickly and then leave the second one there for you. Some bright young talent there. It was just, I think, a bit of the finessing and passing and that perhaps not capitalising on the offensive opportunities they had. They certainly had a few, Bayswater.
They certainly did. I caught some of this game whilst watching the under-17s on the other side, but Wembley have a very strong defensive lineup in the under-15s. I saw most of those young fellas play in the 15s tournament last year up at Joondalup, and along with their goalie Reuben, the defenders there are very good. They work well together, so it's always going to be tough to score, I think, against Wembley this season. But it's good to see the Basie boys did all right too without their regular goalie in the cage, who was away, unfortunately, with some school commitments.
What?
School commitments. It's
on a Saturday.
I know, right? How good?
Who does that?
It was good to see the Basie boys also strong in defence, unfortunately.
Not quite to be. It was 10-4 for Wembley. It was Charles Bugg and Jackson Newsom with 3 each and 2 to Oliver Roig. While for the... What do you call yourselves? What colour are you?
Basie.
You do. Okay, so for Basie... Will Frensham impressed me. I thought he fought hard. He got a couple singles to Jack Stone and AJ, who I had a few tongue twists getting my tongue around the surname there. Sorry for that, AJ, but it is Escasinas. So AJ, good work there. And you mentioned the goalie. I think his dad Gus might have been asking if we're doing more 15s.
Yeah, I think so. Goalies, as we all know in this sport, need to be, how do I put this, a special kind of person to jump in the cage and stand in front of those hard lacrosse balls. Not for me, so I take my hat off to anyone who does. So,
and that's Ezra.
Yeah, well done, Ezra. That was fantastic effort. You wouldn't see me doing it.
Well, I saw a goalie run into the goals on the weekend, but we'll save that for later. No mentions at the moment. The other 15s game, mate?
We had Wanneroo Subi 16. Wanneroo Junior. Yeah, they were both 16. We had a draw.
We did.
Yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, so Jack McCracken got on the board with a bag of 5 for Wanneroo Joondalup. Ashton Chinsky with 4 as well for Wanneroo Joondalup. And unfortunately, Subi Phoenix, there was no info in there, so we can't give you a shout out. Please upload your info so we know who's doing what and can give them a shout out on a Wednesday.
Absolutely. And it certainly helps me get ready for the Saturday broadcast and Friday as well now. This week, matches, we'll have a quick look at the ladder. First of all, Wembley versus Wanneroo Joondalup. That match is going to be played as a curtain raiser on Saturday night for the State League. The two clubs coming together, so the under-15s once again will feature as a curtain raiser for the main broadcast. And your boys up against Subiaco Phoenix.
That should be an interesting battle. We'll see. We'll see
indeed. All right, so that's the junior men's. We'll get into the 17s men. They're not really juniors at this age. They're playing up in the seniors, most of them.
Some of them might even be driving to the ground.
So Wanneroo Joondalup enjoyed the bye. Just 5 sides in the 17 men's competition. In a close one, actually, very close. I'll leave that top one for you, mate.
Righto.
Wanneroo Joondalup up against Subiaco Phoenix. You're not hearing deja vu. It was another draw. On this occasion, 9 goals apiece there to both sides. Wanneroo Joondalup 3 each to Jake Matheson and Adam Jerajan. Yep, Jerajan. Yep. And again, the Phoenix Subiaco must have borrowed Wanneroo's laptop from last week because no info in there for them. But the other match, mate?
The other match, well, Wembley beat Bayswater 11-8. A bit of a late comeback there in the second half to Bayswater. Wembley were well in front in the first half. Charlie Clark put away 6.
He's good, isn't he?
He is a very, very good player. And he doesn't just shine in the under-17s, he shines in State League as well.
Yep.
So watch that space. Young man's got a big future. 3 to John Narby there, and Alex McBean put away 5 for Bayswater. I think 4 of those, if not even 4 of those in the last quarter, if not 5
wow.
in the second half. And I have to say this because it's on the run sheet. Young Mitch White put away 2 as well after spending the first half with a long pole in his hand. So,
well, I've seen a tendency for long poles to try and come out. We saw that a couple of times on the weekend as well, and fancy their chances. They kick like fullbacks at goal, really.
Yes.
But look, close competition. Really, Phoenix Subi on top, Bayswater in second place, so some comfort there. Wembley, Wanneroo Joondalup and East Fremantle yet to hit the board. They've only played 1 game though. They've had the bye and 1 loss. So East Freo sure to make amends this week against Phoenix Subi in the local derby.
Having watched all these kids come through since the under-11s, this is going to be a really tight year in the 17s. I reckon any team on any given day could get up and win. I think it's going to be some great lacrosse if you're around. If you're around at 10:45 to spy any of the under-17s games, have a look. They're all going to be crackers, I reckon, this year.
And I'm not sure why they play at 10:45 and the 15s at 12:45. Is there a reason for that?
I think this year there's been
without notice. Sorry,
there's been some adjustments to the time frame. So the under-17s has been brought forward 15 minutes. The Divi 2 has been brought forward as well, and the State League has been pushed back a little bit. That's to allow some of the under-17s to get to other games, whether it be a Division 2 or Division 3 games, give the kids who are going from under-17s to State League a big break, and also to allow the guys who play 2s to be able to watch the majority of State League games and maybe socialise in the club rooms with their opponents and their teammates, and catch the State League games. It also helps the Divi 2 coaches as well, have a look at what's going on in the State League, and then the State League coaches have a look at what's going on in Divi 2, etc., etc.
All makes sense now.
Yeah, little tweak here and there, and it's worked where, everything can still flow nicely, which is good.
So Bayswater with the bye this week, Wanneroo Joondalup up against Wembley and Phoenix Subiaco, as I mentioned, up against East Freo, who will not be easy to beat, I don't think, knowing the East Freo boys.
No, they've got a good goalie in their cage, and young Lockie Wills, who can play as well, running around. So
ignore that; it landed on his toes. It went. Live TV brought to you here on the Community Sports Show. Thanks Thanks to our good friends and sponsors, ID Athletic and Vision Decor. Okay, the junior ladies, just 2 grades in the women's this year. We've dropped one of the grades, under 14s.
Yeah, a few years ago we did have the 13s, 15s, 17s set up, just like the boys. But that puts a few pressures on fixturing on a game day on a Sunday with all the ladies playing at the same place, and unfortunately to get teams on the park and have them as even as you can. The under 15s was dropped, I think, last year for the 2 women's grade setups. So, but the under 13s men's is also a mixed, and the under 11s is really a mixed grade. So we get a good smattering of ladies playing in there. Quite often than not, they show the boys up, which is great.
Well, we do love it like that. All right, running through the 14s last week, the Bayswater ladies had a bye. East Fremantle 8, defeated by Phoenix 10. So well done to the Phoenix people down there. And Wanneroo Joondalup running out victors over Wembley 7-5. This week, Wembley's got the bye. Wanneroo Joondalup versus Phoenix, and your guys up against East Freo, mate.
Should be a cracker.
Oh, sorry, your ladies.
Yeah, our ladies. It should be a cracker, absolutely. In the under 17s this week, Wembley had a bye. Wanneroo Joondalup 7 were defeated by Phoenix 19, with Chloe Duckworth putting away 5 for Wanneroo Joondalup. Freya Payne 4, Corey Rainey and Trinity Walker with 3 each for the Black. And in the game I saw, East Fremantle 2 were defeated by Bayswater 14. Emma E and Nikki Carson put away 3 each. East Fremantle, Isla Emerson and Sarah Murray put away 1 each. Bindi Buckman went from 6-0.
That's a stat that my stats researcher pulled that one out. Sorry, Bindi.
Yes, I mean, in most games, everyone knows who's who in the zoo, and if one of the girls matched up on her to stop her getting the ball, things like that can happen. But interestingly for Bayswater, there's no Veronica Keane, who's away I think she's in Vanuatu.
What's she representing?
She's representing the Australian ladies Indigenous cricket team. So good on you, Veronica. Congratulations on your selection, and carrying on. Some talent, that young lass. Some talent.
Absolutely, and so much talent. She's even graduated from the community sports show to mainstream television interview during the cricket season.
Absolutely. I think she had a bit of a feature on Channel 10 through the cricket season.
They still count as mainstream. Just.
They're not quite at our level yet, Noelzy, but they'll get there with some work.
Dare to dream, Channel 10.
This week, East Freo had Phoenix, Wanneroo Joondalup playing Wembley, and Baysy are on the bye.
And the ladder in the under-17 ladies sees Bayswater, as a result of 2 wins, sitting on top very comfortably so over Phoenix in second place, Wanneroo Joondalup, Wembley, and rounding out the 17s for the ladies, it is East Fremantle. As well as our platinum sponsors, I've mentioned them a couple of times and they'll get a couple more, ID Athletic and Vision Decor. We do this with the support of Ashby Farrell White Arch for all your realty needs. Just taking a photo of the notes there, mate.
No, mate, I'm actually trying to share this so everyone on my Facebook can have a look at us.
And Barner Barner Construction as well. Thanks, Josh Stork. And it was interesting, just very quickly as a side note, I saw a post in the Perth Football League who a few years ago made the decision to let us go, and that was a fantastic decision. It's worked out for everyone here. Thank you, Perth Footy League. However, they were announcing... Oh, I've fallen off there. They were announcing that they've now got a streaming service for the Perth Football League, and a few people went on and said, but what about the little people that do it like Noelzy? So big thank you to everyone who chipped the Perth Footy League. All right, Women's Division 2, we'll get into that now. It is another draw, a weekend of draws, mate. hold on to them in the win because you don't want to lose your draws. Wembley 9 versus Wanneroo. I'm showing my age there.
PG rated, Noelzy, mate. PG rated.
I was. Wanneroo Joondalup versus... What is going on here? Sorry, viewers. I'm going to drop my glasses or lift them up there so I can see what's happening here, because twice I've fallen off the perch tonight. And for a bloke in my condition, that's never good.
You stay right where you are, Noelzy. No falling off that chair, mate.
No plans to. But, right, what I was trying to say there, Women's Division 2, Wembley 9, Wanneroo Joondalup 9. Wanneroo Joondalup made some progress, got most of the information in, but none for this grade. But I can tell you that it was 3 each for Stephanie McRae and Madison Carroll for for Wembley. So good work there, ladies.
In the other game, unfortunately, there was a forfeit, so the Basie girls didn't get on the park with East Fremantle, I believe,
Correct.
Not having the numbers up for the Divi 2.
Well, there was one more match there, Subiaco Phoenix versus Alkimos, so that is the long track game there. 11-4 in Subiaco Phoenix's favour. 4 to Lynette Johnson, while it was 3 each to Michaela Johns and Angela Somerville. While for Alkimos, 2 to Chelsea Packham and 1, as always, reliable Mara Crane and Kirsten Smedley getting another one there as well. So it was 10-0. You'd take the 10-0 win. You didn't get on the ground, but you got a nice boost for percentage.
I think the unfortunate thing for the Basie Div 2 ladies is they just have so much fun, win, lose or draw. It's a shame they didn't get on the ground and show everyone how much fun lacrosse is. Is great fun. But a big sorry, Noelzy, just to go back a smidgen. Big shout out to Lynn Johnson from Subiaco, who was actually one of my high school teachers way back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Not going to age anyone there, are you?
No.
Sorry, Lynn.
Yeah, no. She was one of the fantastic people who got me into golf and sailing and a few temping bowling. I think we did with Miss Johnson. Fantastic. She was a great teacher back then.
All for sport.
FISREC.
Yeah.
FISREC. It was great fun. So congratulations. Good to see you still out on the park. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say you're probably the oldest person I've ever seen play this game. So well done.
If anyone out there can disprove that on Lynn's behalf, please feel free to jump on the comments there and let us know as Whitey sends her out to pasture.
Now you've thrown me under the bus, mate.
No.
Yeah.
It is great, though.
Yeah.
And
fantastic.
it just shows that lacrosse is for everyone, so all ages under 11s to above 50, because Chris is 45 now. So
well, Miss Johnson I still have to call her Miss Johnson because she was one of my teachers. I believe she was playing for Australia in the early 80s. So yeah, great to see. With any luck, I'll get back out on the park this year and then really lower the skills for the Basie Divi 3 team.
Well, let's hope they can get the numbers there for that. All right, this week in Division 2 ladies, Alkimos up against Bayswater, so that's your match there. Wanneroo Joondalup versus Subiaco Phoenix, and rounding out the competition, Wembley versus East Freo. What's the ladder looking like, mate?
Mate, we've got Subi Phoenix with 2 wins from 2 games sitting on top, followed by Wembley, Basie, East Fremantle, Wanneroo Joondalup and Alkimos.
Alkimos just plugging away, and it's great to see. Big thumbs up to you, ladies. I know that you're all committed up there. The Pirates are on his shoulder. Lacrosse. Get up around Alkimos Pirates. All right, in the State League, before we get into the men, we'll round out the first half with the Women's State League. Phoenix 8, defeated by East Fremantle 23. If you do not mind, I mentioned her last week, and this week she deserves a standout mention all by herself. Madison Copeland, if you do not mind, with not one handful of goals, I can't hold the other one up, Chris, give me a hand here, but 10 10 goals to Madison Copeland.
Yeah, that's an amazing effort in anyone's language. That's fantastic. I mean, poor old Tegan Brown only put away 6. So, unfortunately for her, Madison Copeland has, stolen the limelight. But, what an effort. Fantastic.
And look, she's one of those players you mentioned before that have the ability and have represented both their state and their country. And Madison, I'm sure, will be looking forward to the World coming up if she's in that side, I presume so.
Oh, it's great to see the special talents we have running around every Saturday in various lacrosse grounds around Perth. So bring your friends, bring your mates, tell everyone it's great. Get down and have a look.
Yeah, absolutely. And viewers, I can't say it enough, lacrosse for all ages and clubs from Phoenix all the way up to Alkimos, out to Bayswater in the east here. Go Baysy. I'm neutral, of course. But congratulations there to Israel on a big win. Ash Hiron with 4, Trinity Walker stepping up as well, getting another couple in the state league there for Phoenix.
And again, Ashton Hiron for Phoenix, what a special talent she is. So, you're looking at, 2 of the world's best lacrosse players matching up against each other, on any given Saturday. It's fantastic.
World class here on the Community Sports Show and across Lacrosse WA. All right, I'll take the last one, save the next one. Oh, actually, I'll do that one for you, mate.
Oh, thanks, mate.
Subiaco 11 defeated Bayswater 2. We mentioned the absence of Veronica Keane. She's been a goal-scoring machine for Bayswater. Quiet week for Kate Hooper, though. Just 2 assists and the 1 goal. So Kate Hooper showing she can share it around. Ruby Kozwara and Erin Mitchell, Ruby, with 3 goals each there for Subiaco, proving the difference. Isla Fraser and Rebecca Anderson, the goal scorers for Bayswater. Moving on.
Moving on. Moving on. The Baysy girls obviously, unfortunately, didn't go their way this week, but again, I look over at training when I drop my young fella off and pick him up, and I just look over and the girls are just having so much fun. You wouldn't know that they'd lost by 9 goals on the weekend. They run around, smiles on their faces, high fives, and that's what community sport's all about, and that's why we love it. In the other game, Wembley 5 defeated by Wanneroo up 15. So a bit of a turnaround in fortunes there, unfortunately for Wembley this season, with Olivia Robinson putting away 2 for Wembley, singles to Amanda and Holly Plummer. Yeah, with Rhiannon Panting putting away 1 as well. Great to see a mother-daughter combination running around on the field together. Nothing better.
Now, I need to, with the biggest smile, I was out at Wembley and Amanda caught up with me and said, Noelzy, because I asked her for an interview and she said, Noelzy, last time you filmed me, I fell over onto my arse and you said PG, but we're not for kids on YouTube, so it's okay. She fell over on her arse and I caught that and she said, I'm not doing your interview for you. So there you go, Amanda. We'll give you a shout out for a goal instead, but great work. Now, I just got to bring up, before we move on to this week's matches, Lacrosse WA and the ladies out there watching this at the moment, I'm trying to schedule when I can get out to film a full day of women's lacrosse, but on the website at the moment, the dates are all over the place. We go from the end of May, suddenly we're at the end of July with no games in between, according to the fixtures, and they're all over the place. So whoever controls that at LWA, if you can just, I know you've had some work on the fixtures, but if you can square up the Ladies State League, I'll be able to get out and do a full day of women's lacrosse.
So rumour has it, and I can't confirm it, but I believe there was talk of maybe a Sixers tournament or some games around the Sixers format happening at that time where there's no fixturing, because there's a fair bit going on in the lacrosse world at that point in time. There's the Nationals on, then there's the Worlds over in San Diego for the men. So there's a lot going on at that time. Add school holidays, and you add all these things up, and that's what the rumour has on the word on the street. Cannot confirm nor deny. However, that's what I hear is going to happen.
If anyone out there can confirm or deny, that'd be lovely to know as well. But it literally goes from round 5 at the end of May to round 6 is the end of July, and then round 8 is somewhere in June. So I'm not sure, and I understand what you're saying about filling that gap, because there's a couple of weeks where there's nothing. Unfortunately, LWA, you haven't kept me in the loop, so I'm already committed to those dates. But look, this week, you mentioned, mate, Mother's Day at the top, all the mums across the clubs, mums to be, mums that were, mums that are.
We all appreciate the work that mums do, especially around community sport. Quite often they're the tireless workers in the background, running the clubs, running the canteen, making sure all the grounds are set up, making sure the kids are there on time and, have the correct equipment, and, the unsung heroes of our sport in this world. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Big thumbs
up. Especially to my lovely wife Diane and my mother Frances. Without you guys, I'd be a dribbling mess in the corner. Thank you.
Well, yes, we'll let that one through the keeper, to use cricket terms, or over the baseline for lacrosse. All right, ladies, State League, these matches all up at Penistone on Sunday. Wembley up against East Fremantle, Phoenix versus Bayswater, and the hosts taking on Subiaco. That one should be a challenge. Subiaco currently sitting on top, East Freo in second, and Wanneroo Joondalup in third, all with 2 wins to their names. So, match of the round for the ladies, I'll call that one. And let's have a tip.
Oh, crikey, a tip. Okay.
For the Wanneroo Joondalup Subiaco.
Wanneroo Joondalup Subi, I think that's going to be... I think I'm going to go with Subi. I'm going to go with Subi. No rhyme or reason. Just Mum used to play there, so...
No reasons needed. Yep. That's as much technical knowledge as you need to join the community sports show. That's a great segue, mate. If you'd like to be a part of the broadcast team here in the studio on a Wednesday night, Whitey's not always going to be available, so there is a spare seat here. If you'd like to jump into that, we'd love to hear from you. And in the broadcast van on Saturdays, we'd love to hear from you as well. So no experience necessary, just a love of sport, like all those mums out there.
I tell you, it's great fun. I was surprised at how easy it was to settle into doing something like this with Noelzy. He gets you prepared and tells you what's what, so it's good.
And thanks for the feedback there, Craig. We'll take the well done. Well done to all the mums as well. We'll keep pushing it back there. Now, look, men's Div 3, I said at the outset, sorry we missed there was a lot of blokes wanted their 15 seconds of fame here.
You and me both, Noelzy. There was half a chance you would have seen me running around, and nobody really wants that. But it was great to see the under-15s. Unfortunately, it was a weekend for forfeits and the 2s and the 3s. There was only one Divi 3 game, one Divi 2 game played over the course of the weekend, just due to unfortunate circumstances, I think.
Well, we'll let it go down to unfortunate circumstances. But before we move on, Div 3, big shout out to all the balcony, the peanut gallery as they were referred to. I think the funniest line of the day actually came from the balcony of the Div 3 crowd.
Yep.
You know which one?
No, because I was concentrating on my job in the scoring in the box.
Well, at one point, we had a special guest commentator from Div 3 in the box, and all of a sudden we got a tip that we might want to swap positions because the van was tilting too far to the back and it might come off the car. So they said it, not me.
The logistics.
But look, you mentioned another forfeit. Wanneroo Joondalup taking a 10-0 win over Subiaco, again due to a forfeit. And really, we've talked about access to players and numbers and things like that. Lacrosse, men's Div 3, it is that atmosphere of laughter, friendship, getting around it, mate. So,
oh, look, the Div 3 is great, and the guys who play it are there because they love the sport. They want to have a run around with their mates. And as I say, in wintertime, my beer drinking club has a lacrosse problem. So, to that end, I've played in games where we've had guys who have picked the game up at the age of 40 plus and played on experienced lacrosse players of 25 plus years, and they've quite literally let them drop the ball, pick it up and move it on, throw it, so
help them develop.
Yeah, help them develop, and that's what it's all about. Have a beer after the game, and it's just a great atmosphere, I think, playing the Div 3, especially when you get the blokes, treating each other with the old blokes treating each other with a bit of respect, so we can all have a beer together after the game. It's great. I don't think there's too many sheep stations being played for in Div 3.
Sometimes, but we'll go to that match now. East Fremantle 8. Talk about the old timers enjoying themselves and getting around it. Luke Grootveld with 4 and doubles to Chris Warren, and the old man of the game, John Redmond. Was not enough to defeat the Pirates. Go the Pirates. Going down 8-10, East Fremantle, 3 each to Josh Koss and Simon Danby in there, as well as 2 for Brad Smith, talking about old boys.
Yeah, that's right. Jeez.
All right, now, fingers crossed, all fingers and toes crossed. This week the matches will see Phoenix up against East Fremantle, Alkimos taking on Bayswater. You want to let them know early if that's not going ahead, because that's a bit of a trek.
It is a bit of a trek. I think, I'm hoping we've got a few blokes back from injuries and work and all that sort of stuff coming back in this week to fill up the grades 1s and 2s, and then, hopefully that'll roll back down to us in the 3s. So, yes, watch this space.
Watch this space indeed. Wanneroo Joondalup taking on Wembley up there at Penistone, where we'll be on Saturday afternoon. All right, Div 2, another couple of forfeits. You mentioned that, Chris. East Freo, and this is the question I had, and I think I asked it last year, but I'll ask it again because I'm still learning. In certain sports, and this is how I'll phrase this, in certain sports, if you're going to forfeit, your bottom side, and I know this as a captain of a third grade cricket side, has to suck up the forfeit and the players push up. But in lacrosse, I've noticed that doesn't always happen. Is that because of age and experience, or...?
Yeah, a number of factors involved, and that's the main one, age and experience. As I mentioned before, the Div 3 competition, whilst, when finals comes, it heats up and it's on, but, through the season, if you've got a lot of, older blokes like myself, and like you mentioned before, Noelzy, you can run around, no worries. You could be a goalie.
I'd be Ezra.
JR, Rabbit Warren, Brad Smith, Simon Danby, where all of the
comments coming through there before they fly past. Big shout out to Harrison Parker telling you you're doing a great job there, and Aaron Williams suggesting I'm on a touchy subject. But that's what we're here for.
Those guys who play, some of the guys who play 3s just aren't fit enough or fast enough. Or, we have had a dozen blokes over 40 take up the game at Basie in the last probably 10 years who you put them in a 2s team and they're just going to get absolutely murdered. And that's not good for them. It's not good for the game. It's not good for the opposition. So, sometimes if you don't have the talent to play 2s, you don't play 2s, The other thing is you combine the 2s and 3s, and I'm just off the cuff here. And then you have a senior team and a development team, and sort of, a couple of divisions where you sort of cross over a smidgen, but not a lot.
Noelzy asking the hard questions and throwing grenades.
Last year, if my memory serves me correctly, we both would have forfeited at a state league game because we didn't have the players to play at that level.
Yeah.
And it was, and I mean, this year, we're putting out a lot of young kids to play, to learn the game. I'll go more into that in depth later. But yeah, so you're stuck between a rock and a hard place sometimes, and you got to try and do the right thing by your guys and the opposition and the sport. And yeah, it's like throwing up 20 balls and trying to catch 10. It's tough.
All right, well, I couldn't do that. I'd be happy to catch one of the 10. All right, well, this week, Phoenix, I mentioned, up against these for Alkimos, Bayswater, Wanneroo, Joondalup versus Wembley. That is Division 3. We'll bring you a ladder in a few weeks when they've actually got some games under their belt, I say with a cheeky last comment there. Div 2, mate, what happened in there?
Well, unfortunately, we spoke about East Freo, didn't have the Div 2 numbers. Wembley, however, defeated Bayswater 6-2 in a tight tussling affair on the far side at Wembley.
Right out the back there.
Yeah. Two goals to Dawson Caldwell. I got my tongue in a tangle for the first time this season. Those of you who have watched in the past know I can stick my tongue in a twist anytime. And Oliver Purton with 2 as well. Good to see Dawson playing with a short stick as I heckled him as I walked past when he was playing with a long pole. I'm like, mate, no, not having it today. He took my advice, and next thing you know, he's got a couple on the board. And we had Brody Lay and Benny Thomas Gill, 2 dads, on the board for Basie.
All right, and the matches this week, Wanneroo Joondalup up against Bayswater and East Fremantle up against Wembley. Just 4 clubs in that competition, so keep your eyes on that one as we file that one away for next week's review. All right, mate, now this is a big one, the Chockies, the one everyone talks about, Men's State League. We'll save the top broadcast game for the end. We'll run through the other 2 first, because this week, viewers, we've got a double header of Men's State League Friday night. We'll do the fixtures first, actually. Friday night, Phoenix up against Bayswater, mate. You cold Friday night in Phoenix.
I'll be rugged up, Noelzy, down there at Good Child Reserve, rugged up to the eyeballs. But I'm quite looking forward to it, actually.
It should be good. The lights are good down there. Been down there last year. And with just exclusive access on that second field, it'll be all broadcast to you. That game at 7 o'clock before Saturday, Subi East Freo at normal times, and Wanneroo Joondalup the Saturday evening broadcast. Basically, those 2 sides, 1 and 3, we'll come to that in a moment. But if you'd like to be a commentator in any of those broadcast matches, be it the under-15s at 4 o'clock on Saturday, the Wanneroo Joondalup v Wembley at 6 o'clock on Saturday, or come join Chris. You're not making it sound very exciting, but I'll bring a blanket if you come join me in the broadcast, man. People say, have you got a heater in there? No, and I'm not sure how I'll go with lighting either, but we'll test it all out. If you'd like to help come and test it out with me on Friday or Saturday, just get in touch. All right, mate, last week's results. Wanneroo Joondalup defeating Subiaco in a close one, 6-5. 2 to Jordan Gillespie, singles to Jake Mellor, Jake Matheson, Josh Polkinghorn, and the ever-reliable, thanks for the stick in the background there, Lockie Walker with one as well. Sadly, no Subi info to share on the goal scorers there.
No, unfortunately not. What I do know about these 2 teams is unfortunately Subiaco have lost a couple of players, a couple of big guns from last year, with a few interstate movements and overseas movements, but they still have a very strong goalie and D-line there with Ashby Dennis playing pole and Bidwell Barton in the cage. You're not going to get too many past them, but I'm not sure if they've got the guns up front to put enough away to beat a spirited Wanneroo Joondalup team who, like a few of us around, I see some young names there Melo, Madison, young Dan Rodriguez playing for them. You know, they've got a little bit of talent floating around there. There's a couple of boys who played in the 18s tournament who haven't had a run yet in their state league team. So I'm quite looking forward to seeing how they grow. And lucky for them, they've got, they've got some guns in Polkinghorne, Walker, Gillespie, Johnson. You know, they've got some big guns there to show them the way and let the youngsters off the chain a little bit and then dig them out when they're a bit far in the hole.
Well, we saw how good they were against Phoenix 2 weeks ago in our broadcast match, so opportunities abound there. East Fremantle defeating Phoenix in the derby down there. Shout out to Tyler Redmond. He's cracked 100 league points, which are points for goals and assists, for those who didn't know.
Still a young fella, so fantastic achievement.
He had 3 goals, 2 to old reliable Jesse Stack, Ryan Hockey. Chris
son of
is over east, actually, just attended a wedding. We'll come to that in club news. And Mitch Kennedy of the Kennedy clan grabbing a couple as well. Well, for Phoenix, it was the Moya boys, Cade with 2, Ethan 1, Zeth Velsecki and Luke McCrone also with 1.
All the way from Stockport Lacrosse Club in, I believe that's
Manchester.
Yes. Unfortunately, the Stockport Club lost the English Championship over the weekend to Hampstead Heath, which featured a few West Australians.
Actually, I did see that Hampstead Heath post somewhere. Yeah,
so off the top of my head, we had Bayswater's Tommy Graham and Phoenix's Miles Blair playing in that game. Sorry if I've missed anyone. I believe there was another Aussie in there as well, off the top of my head. But yes, I digress, Noelzy.
No, that's good digression.
It's good to see Luke out here. He came and played box with us in the summertime, and went over to Melbourne and represented WA in the box championship. Fine young talent. Coming out here from England to have a bit of a holiday and look around and play some lacrosse. How good.
And enjoying himself down there in the black. All right, our broadcast match last week, I thought it was going to be a good day for Bayswater. Opened up Clancy Buckley with a sizzling goal to open up the game. Unfortunately for Bayswater, that was the only goal, mate, going down 15-1 against top of the ladder, Wembley.
Well, the story of the season is we were competitive for a quarter, Noelzy. The Baysy boys, I think it was 3-1 in the first quarter. As it was against East Fremantle, I think it was 2-3. So within a couple of goals there, but Wembley's class just went all over the they ran all over the top of the Baysy youngsters.
And that's a positive, though. I mean, the reality is, for all of that, Bayswater are blooding some young players under Frenchier's coach there.
Yep.
No big names. It is more about that team environment. Not that the other clubs aren't, I'm not saying that, but Bayswater through necessity.
Yeah, so unfortunately, or fortunately, time will tell. There was, I think, 8 from memory. 8 of the 13 who took the park were maybe they were 20. They definitely, the majority of them were teenagers.
Correct.
A 16-year-old, a couple of 17-year-olds, a couple of 18-year-olds, a couple of 19-year-olds, and they went out and gave it their best. But unfortunately for poor old our American import Guardi, I'm sorry, mate, I butchered your name.
Guardi Reyes.
There we go. Noelzy knows what's going on. As we've fondly dubbed him, Gary. Was an absolute superstar in goals and saved an absolute bundle. So. Shout out to you, Gary. You'll hear a lot of nice Gary coming from the crowd, and we've already told him he's the GOAT. So, yes. well done, mate. But yeah, the Wembley team they were phenomenal. They even had I believe Tim Forbes came out of retirement to play in goals there.
Should we out the goalie that headbutted the post?
Oh, was that Gary? That was Gary. Yeah, he was passionate, mate. He was trying to save everything he could. So he dived into the goals, and next thing you know...
Well, he went a bit far out from the crease. He found himself caught out short. A pass didn't quite make it all the way, and he had to quickly turn around and probably did what I did, or would do. Like a freight train. I'm good once I get up to speed, but you need a couple of Ks to slow down, is what he said.
Yep, 100%, mate. It's hard to stop when you get the freight train moving, isn't that right, Noelzy?
Yeah.
No, the Wembley boys, again, I can't say how good they were from front to back. I could name them all, but I'd be naming the whole team. With young Charlie Clark dominating in the face-off, as I reckon he will do for the rest of the year. You have your long poles of Muck Slow running off the wing, and they've just got quality all over the field. Hard to stop. I think they're going to be the team to beat in the State League this year. I think with East Freo on their tails, we'll see how close they get to them, and I think they could knock them off depending upon their personnel. But yeah, it's quality from start to finish. Yeah, I mean they're missing a couple of players from last year at Wembley, and it didn't show at all.
Well, Matt Wood with 5 and 2 each to Jack Cooper, Alex Brown and Braden Pantin, and we'll mention Braden again in a moment when we get to the club news. But having a look at the ladder, mate, what's the situation down there in State League, or I should say up there in State League?
Oh, I reckon it's going to be the tale of two halves of the season for the State League boys. You've got the top 3, Wembley, East Fremantle, and then Wanneroo, Joondalup, all with 2 wins percentage separating them in that order, followed by Phoenix, Subiaco and Bayswater. And
percentage also separating them.
Correct. I reckon that, the top 3 are going to beat the bottom 3, and the bottom 3 will play out
for fourth spot,
to see who can sneak into the finals and get some more experience for their youngsters running around.
Well, you never know, because once you're in the finals, you're a chance.
Mate, like they say, cricket's a funny game. Anything can happen.
But we're here for the Lacrosse show, mate. Cricket was summer.
Yeah, I know.
Come on.
That's where I get all my cliches from, Noelzy.
And that's where I get most of mine. Well, actually, I just pull mine from wherever they come from. But before we go, we mentioned the Peanut Gallery, and we mentioned I had a co-commentator on Saturday. Mate, Andrew Ridgey Ridgewell, for all the heckling you got from the Peanut Gallery, mate, you did a fantastic job. I don't know if you got a chance to hear him, but
unfortunately, I haven't, Noelzy. But I was scoring next to the wonderful Emma Green, so we were nattering away amongst ourselves trying to watch the game, and I might have been heckling a few players as they ran off into the penalty box and giving my 2 cents worth. There was a few. Unfortunately I didn't hear his commentary, but I know he's a character and definitely likes a word here and there, and it's great to see people having a crack and doing that. And the feedback I've heard has been phenomenal.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And people say I talk a lot. He actually came up later and said, "Sorry, I didn't let you get a word in, Noelzy." So, and I said, "That's fine," because everyone loved him. He knew what he was talking about. He knew the players. And that's as easy as it is, viewers. If you want to get involved, if you do happen to be unfortunately suffering a forfeit in your grade that week, jump behind the mic with me, just upskill my knowledge as well, because I'm still learning.
It's you and me both, Noelzy. Every day's a school day, and it's terrible because I know just enough to be dangerous, and somebody with some real experience would be great. So
well,
I've watched a lot of lacrosse. I haven't played as much as I would have liked, but I've watched a lot.
Well, you can get to watch as much as you like here on the Community Sports Show, because each and every week our broadcasts, including tonight's show, proudly brought to you by our sponsors, ID Athletic, for all your
clothing and apparel needs. Noelzy.
That's it. Clothing, sporting apparel and merchandise needs. That's what ID Athletic do. Sorry, Glenn. Don't know where my tongue was there. But look, they do a great job, as well as Vision Decor, for all your blind curtain and awning needs. Mike Ash is actually supporting, and it's good how the community supports each other, because here's a quick side fact. Ashby Farrell White Arch support us. as a gold sponsor. Thank you, Ashby. But they use Vision Decor for all their property upgrades and things like that. So how's that?
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
It's a small world, this sporting community in Perth, and it's great that we all back each other.
Absolutely. And we saw a couple of occasions of that, and we'll come to that in a moment because we talk about clubs coming together in the sport, and I mentioned during Saturday's broadcast how good it is. But before we get to the club news, if you've got any news, jump online. Plenty of you on there with us. Thanks for joining us tonight or this morning or this afternoon, wherever you are, whatever time of day you're watching this. It'll be live on our Facebook page now, saved later. And Whitey, I'm very excited.
Wait.
Our YouTube channel. We've moved from 17 to 27 subscribers. Just 973 more, and we can stream live on YouTube. A little way to go there, but if you want to watch the footage or share it, you can go to YouTube for those not on Facebook and share our footage across the globe, because I put a post up, I think it was yesterday. I did some number crunching, mate. Mm-hmm. Using round figures, because I'm terrible at maths. Just a reminder, kids, stay in school, learn your maths. 12,898, give or take one or two here or there, have enjoyed the Lacrosse WA season so far. So great numbers there, and a great opportunity for you to get your company behind us, just like our existing sponsors. But look, WA, you mentioned earlier, and during the week, Lacrosse WA announced the WA men's state team for the Nationals in Adelaide? No,
yes,
Adelaide.
No, they're in Adelaide this year.
They're in Adelaide. One moment, please. My brain is warming up. But they announced the WA state men's side, and East Freo pretty much owning half of that side there. We'll run. You do the left-hand column, I'll do the right-hand column.
Righto, running from the top down, we've got East Fremantle's Dan Bowater, Harrison Buckman, who's back for the, well, I suppose it's his summer, given that he's probably on Northern Hemisphere time. Ryan Hockey, Joseph Manning from East Fremantle. Wembley have got Jack Cooper on my side, with Subi represented by Jack Heppingstone, and we also have Thomas Moyer from the Phoenix Lacrosse Club with Xavier Williams, and from Wanneroo Joondalup on my half of the page, Jaden Rodriguez and Lockie Spickett. Yes,
they didn't list it. They listed them in surname alphabetical order, so that's how I wrote them. And you were very technical there, grouping them. I was just going to run down the list, and I'm still going to do that. Liam Bryant, Charlie Clark, we mentioned how good he's going to be. Tom Harris from Bayswater in there, mate. Good young man.
Yeah, Tommy's, he goes about his work quietly, but all I see him doing at training is sniping corners. So let's hope he gets the opportunity to put a few away for WA.
Nicholas Ho, Rhett Johnstone, and that's John Stone with a T and an E. We always like that. Jed Martella, some connections there. Big shout out to the Martellas down there at East Freo. Tom Richards of East Fremantle. Aaron Salter, the Subiaco representative with Jack, along with Josh Vetter, one of the US boys playing down there in black, and I suspect this last man will be in goal, Travis Wolf, just doing a dominant job for Phoenix, rounding out the squad. Yeah, I think they're taking the two goalies away when they travel. So, good on Travis and Rhett. Travis and Rhett, I believe, although Rhett has been playing on the field this season for Wanneroo Joondalup with a pole, I've been told, to give their other young goalie an opportunity, which is fantastic. That's why we love this sport. He's doing the team thing, and he's bringing on the youngsters, and I'm sure he's coaching and mentoring him behind the scenes. You know, it's incredible what people put back in to the sport. It's great. And your man Adam Geordie St. Jaw finally, 3 years later, I've learned how to pronounce it with confidence. The coach, I should say. So rounding out that side, it is 8 East Fremantle, 4 from Wembley and Phoenix, 3 from Wanneroo Joondalup, and 2 each from Bayswater and Subiaco. Good luck to all of them, and hopefully we'll see the women's side announced shortly.
The still a young team there, Noelzy, so I reckon there's a lot to look forward to in the future there.
Yep.
With that squad there. There's not too many over the age of 22 or 23 in there, so get at it, boys.
The future is black and gold.
Yes.
And it does say Adelaide there. I should have read the notes at Sturt Lacrosse Club. Big shout out to Sturt. We'll talk about the interstate matches in just a second, because Lacrosse WA also, with head coach Megan Shanks, let the world know that Erin Laws will be stepping up as an assistant for the women's state team in that tournament. So good luck to them. And some refs going over to the Worlds, mate. That's exciting.
Mate, one of our assessors, Peter Mulcahy, is going over there to make sure everyone does their job properly.
I think he's going with...
Now he's retired, officially. He's had his party, he's finished up his 9 months of relaxing by the pool. And, now he's off to do some real work at the Worlds.
Who's McRae that... Is it a McRae that... Cole McRae?
There is a McRae who umpires.
Because he's also going as an assessor, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, Noelzy, your notes are...
I know, well, I couldn't remember the second one. Sorry, Cole, if that's you.
But yeah, we got TK, Tim Kennedy off to ref, as well as Kim Canting. Panton. There we go.
I know.
3 tongue twisters for the day.
Oh, well, the good news is I have saved so much. Last week I was donating $2 for every stumble I made, and it cost me $28 for those following at home. But it's all in the good cause, and that's what we love. So, look, Lacrosse WA, women's state team, will announce that as soon as we hear. Good luck to the men. But we're crossing the borders, mate, into foreign climes. Now, I put that at the top because on Saturday in the broadcast match we had a minute's silence. Let's just take a moment we won't have a minute's silence, but let's take a moment, viewers, to acknowledge the challenge around mental health, okay? Whitey spoke about the benefits of getting involved with community clubs and things like that. And across the Lacrosse family last week we lost a couple of people to suicide. It's not a taboo subject. I think it should be spoken about more and more so that we can get more and more support. By hiding it, we allow it to continue. So our thoughts go out. We can announce this because it was through the club page. Chris Miles of Footscray, he was well known to a number of people across the Lacrosse community. Our thoughts go out to the family and friends of Chris and the Footscray Lacrosse Club over there. And there was one here as well, although I don't think we can say who that was, so we won't. But everyone, please reach out, ask for help, talk to someone, you know. Even the lifelines, 13 11 44. It's almost like I had it on speed dial, but...
if you see a mate who's just not looking right, don't just ask him once or twice if he's okay. Ask him 3 or 4 times and really, check in and make sure and try and do what you can.
Because it's okay to say you're not okay, and I'll admit that I've reached out and others have reached out to me, and we are all in this journey together. So please do reach out. All right, let's get into the Victoria men's competition. Sadly, the first game upset me when I saw this, but well done to Victoria winning both and I mentioned it last week, the men's and women's titles at the recent Under-18s National Championships here in Perth. But we'll run through and we'll just tag team these, mate. The men's competition first, Williamstown defeating my beloved Chadstone 4-17.
We have Camberwell 13 defeating Brunswick 11.
In a walk in the park, it was Malvern 26. No walk in the park for Surrey Park, though, just 4 And while I have a moment, big shout out to Surrey Park. They're having a boot scootering night coming up. So if you're in Victoria or down at Surrey Park, get your boots on.
That's fantastic. Everyone loves to scoot a boot. We had Altona, who I believe that's the team I picked last year.
You did?
12, defeating Caulfield 8.
Footscray 17, defeating Eltham 6 there. And the ladder, Malvern, MCC, don't know if they're a new club in or...
No. MCC, that is the Melbourne Cricket.
Yes.
Yep. So they, I believe they've been promoted up to State League with a bit of a reshuffle in the way Victorians have gone about things this year with their one team, one club. Correct me if I'm wrong, people out there would know more than me. With their sort of restructure of their senior divisions of lacrosse. So, good to see... Good to see a up-and-coming club from a lower division taking it to the big boys.
And Andrew White online, good to see you just relaxing there. Not sure who Ben is, I'm guessing.
Oh, that's my brother and old mate Benny Hill. G'day, Benny. How are you, mate? He's a lacrosse supporter for a long time now.
I thought he passed away years ago.
That music should accompany Benny around with him. We'll leave that one there. Cheers, Benny. G'day, bro.
All right, so the ladder, Malvern, MCC, Footscray, Williamstown, Eltham, Altona, Caulfield, Brunswick, Camberwell, Chadstone and Surrey Park. And looking at that, and I know we're looking at it here in WA, a couple of clubs nearly side by side, suburb-wise, Caulfield, Chadstone, just a couple of k's apart from each other, and Camberwell not too far up the road there. Really, you might be looking at mergers in years to come if you want to consolidate. But that's not for me to know, just to speculate. In the women's, mate, for Victoria?
Wow, Williamstown 23 defeated Malvern 8. Footscray 14 defeated Newport 5. With the ladder flowing Footscray, Williamstown, Newport, Malvern and Camberwell.
All right, we're getting closer to home now as we turn the corner into South Australia. And in the men's competition, North Eagles defeating Glenelg 12-8.
Brighton 20 defeating East Torrens Farnham, if I pronounce that properly.
Farnham, I think.
But, yep, I'll take your word for it. 7.
Woodside 7, speaking of 7, Woodside with 7 defeating the host of the national tournament, Sturt 6.
Woodville had the bye with the ladders standing. We got the Eagles, followed by Sturt, Glenelg, Burnside, Brighton, ETP and Woodvale.
Woodville?
Woodville.
That's all right.
Woodvale's a suburb, isn't it?
Here in Perth.
Yes.
Big shout out to all those in the northern suburbs. They probably play for Wanneroo, Joondalup or Elkmos.
I would say so, yes.
All right, there's another $2 donated to charity. Fortunately, he's paying this week. All right, he didn't know that until just then. Glenelg, 19 big victors over North Eagles ladies, 2.
Oh, where are we? Oh, there we go, Noelzy. I'm all
mate.
over it. Brighton 10 defeated Woodvale 6. Burnside had the bye. And the ladder?
Is Brighton, Glenelg, Burnside, North Eagles and Woodville. That's the South Australian ladies. Now we're crossing the border back into WA for one last time to go through the club news. We've trolled the websites, we've trolled your Facebook clubs. If you've got news, feel free to reach out, let us know. Each and every week we can tell the world what's happening at your club, so feel free to do so. And in club news this week, East Fremantle, we have to start off this bloke missing and a couple of the East Freo seniors missing last week because there was a wedding. Congratulations, Cam Evangelo, on your marriage to Lauren. Best wishes from us and everyone across Lacrosse. Tyler Redman also, as we mentioned in there at the State League, achieving the 100 State League points there. So well done to you, Tyler.
Well, for the broadcast match Friday night down at Phoenix, the bar will be open and there will be food. That will all be on. It will all be available. Come down, grab a burger, a snag or whatever they've got on, the pie or sausage roll. I'm sure the bar and the canteen will be fully stocked.
Absolutely. And feel free to grab a mic as well. Just a reminder, if you want to broadcast with me the State League match for that Friday night game, it is set to kick off at 7 o'clock. Just reach out because you can do so. We mentioned Mother's Day. We can't finish up without mentioning it again because for some reason Wembley like their wine and they're selling them for Mother's Day as a fundraiser to help Braden Pantin and Matt Wood in their fundraising campaign for the Worlds coming up in San Diego.
Fantastic things that all clubs tend to do when they have representation going away for lacrosse. I know Wanneroo Joondalup had a quiz night, to support Lockie Walker. Get behind it. If you're a wine buff or you just fancy a couple of bottles, by all means, have a look on their Facebook page. Get involved.
Don't have to drink it yourself. Give it away as a present.
Exactly. And you can support, your local club and fellow lacrosse players. So Wanneroo Joondalup had a great turnout for their junior training sessions. They've posted on Facebook, their ground's full of kids running around, which is what we like to see. It's fantastic. And from a Bayswater point of view, we're saying congratulations to Chloe Tatlow, whose college won their conference over the weekend. I believe she was the highest scorer in their conference grand final, or their playoffs, however you pronounce it. So congratulations on graduating, Chloe, and I believe that's 3 rings she'll have to bring back from Walsh University.
Wow.
Congratulations, and we're looking forward to having you back at the club, along with hopefully we'll see Jackson Barron as well, and we're looking forward to seeing the Wandering Basie crew return.
Absolutely, and it's great to see clubs represented over in the States and across Europe in different competitions. Well done to everyone who's taking those opportunities. Subiaco, unfortunately, not much going on down at the club. I'm sure they're all flat out, Kate and the team there, but nothing of news coming through the Lions. While the Pirates, if you don't mind, they've got a quick sticks lacrosse night going on now. Is that a bit like Modcross, but a bit faster?
It's basically the updated, revamped, relaunched version, I suppose, of what we all know as Modcross. It's a great structured program, for first timers, kids from 5 onwards to get a lacrosse stick in their hand, run around and have some fun. So if you know anyone in the area, remotely in the area, come on down. It's affordable. It's fun. Get involved.
That's on.
Tell your friends.
Yeah, tell your friends, tell your family. That's on Tuesday nights. Lacrosse WA players, so juniors are free if you're registered with LWA. Now, just 2 bits of news. Non-lacrosse, I am a sports show, and I'll say that because the community sports show, we cover more than just lacrosse, although we're focusing on lacrosse in winter. A couple of shout-outs to Team WA in the Interstate Teams Golf Tournament over East this week, unfortunately going down in straight sets, struggling in tough conditions. I saw a photo of the course and there was a ship tanker out in the background, so the breeze must have just got a little bit too much of the balls there. And the Community Sports Show, proudly sponsoring community football in the Upper Great Southern Football League. Their ladder, just a quick mention, Katanning, Boddington and Wickerpin all on 3 wins, sitting on top there at the moment. A shout out to Michael Cowald of Cannington for taking out the Volunteer of the Week award, but a special mention to both Katanning and Wagen coming together like all community clubs do, having a Pink for Piper Day to help raise funds for a young girl down there suffering from neuroblastoma. Unfortunately, that's a cancer for those unfamiliar. Wagen and Katanning putting on a big show there. Well done to everyone involved. Looking to get down there if I can.
On the road trip, Noelzy.
big road trip. I've flagged it with the wife. She's, I flagged it. I think that's happening early August. There's a week off Lacrosse.
Plant the seed early, is that what you're trying to say, Noelzy?
Absolutely.
Plant the seed early, that's the
how
way.
You get through. haven't you learned that yet, mate?
Oh, I have, don't you worry.
Look, there's plenty of tips, not just seeds to be planted, but plenty of opportunities. Whitey, any news from you? Young, you'd have to be, before we go, you'd have to be happy with Mitch. He's going all right, stepped up, did well at the 18s, playing state league now.
Yeah, that's fantastic. He loves the sport, and and it's a proud dad moment. But it's not quite as good as winning a cricket premiership with him. I quite enjoyed that. That's on a personal level.
Yeah, well, of course.
So shout out to all the boys and girls at the Western Suburbs Cricket Club.
Actually, there's a bloke who said you always say that. I won't mention who he is, but big shout out to Tony.
Thanks, Tony. We took home 2 flags, which was fantastic. The overall premiership in the one days, and it's the highlight of my sporting career so far.
Oh, well, and we love it. Big shout out to everyone involved in community sport, wherever you are. On behalf of Chris White, I am Noel Johnston. And thanks to our sponsors one more time, ID Athletic, I'll get it right this time, ID Athletic, for all your club apparel and sporting merchandise needs, ID Athletic can help hook you up. And on that note, keep an eye out, because any week now we expect delivery of our freebie good giveaways. Sports towels, drink bottles, caps. So keep your eyes open for that, viewers, thanks to ID Athletic. And, of course, Vision Decor for all your blind, curtain and awning needs. Great products, great range, great prices, because they're great people. Chris White, thanks very much, mate. To all you out there, take care, stay safe wherever you are. Be nice to yourself, but remember, be nice to those around you. I nearly said Saturday. Till Friday night at 7 o'clock. This is me, Noel Noelzy Johnston, reaching in to sign off. Take care, stay safe, and we'll see you then.